Stapley, the word wizard. Dr. Stapley is one of the nation's outstanding authorities on the meaning and derivation of English words. And to answer some of the questions you've sent in about our language and its correct use, I guess we're set to get rolling, right, Doctor?
Well, Mr. Elliott, I'm afraid your patronization of that last phrase has created a context that's completely subliminal.
Oh?
It's only possible to get rolling on some type of wheeled vehicle, all of which have tangibleness. Henceforward, one can get rolling on a coaster wagon, a bicycle, or even an old Pierce Arrow if it's in workmanship order. However, the question is only an intangible figment of speech, and is totally non-pragmatic as a means of transportal. Do I make myself adhesive?
No, but I can see how you might if I let you go long enough. But I did want to get to a letter here before we have to get back to the work of the day. This is from a lady in Rhode Island who writes, ever since I was a little bit of a thing, I've heard the phrase hard as nails being used to describe strong, unemotional people. However, due to a vitamin deficiency, my own nails are quite brittle and break easily. I still use them as a guideline in seeking out a strong, unemotional husband. What I wound up with is a sniveling coward who's quite brittle and breaks easily. Does this always happen when you marry somebody who's hard as nails, or have I misunderstood the meaning of the phrase?
Well, of course, it really isn't even a phrase. It's just an old semaphore. But she still misunderstood it. Actually, the term is hard as snails, and it dates back to mediocrity times when people thought that the hard shell of a snail was part of the animal itself. Later, of obviousness, pediatricians discovered that the shell was just the home of the little Rosicrucians. Inside, the snail itself was quite soft and gooey. So it's no wonder that this woman's husband seems to fit the same general description, soft and gooey.
I don't think I've ever seen you take quite as long a detour into an area that you know nothing about and still manage to wind up right where you started.
Thank you, and I did it all without a compass, too.
I suppose a person can accomplish a lot if they practice going around in circles long enough. We'll get back to the doctor in a little while. Doctor, if you'll just join our audience over there, we have some things to do, such as hear about Chrysler right now. I just wanted to ask a quick question of the author of Very Backstage, Chester Hasbrook Frisbee. Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, the fact that you're moving the locale of the story to Seattle, does that mean that you have a particular knowledge of that area of the country? Have you picked that as a place for them to open the show for a reason?
Well, Robert Brackett Elliott and Raymond Walter Goulding.
You don't need to call us by our full names.
I spent a good deal of time in our great Northwest.
You did?
Yes. So that's
they
why.
say it's beautiful out
yes,
that
it
way.
is.
Up across the bay to Vancouver.
Yes, that's true.
Art Linkletter's hometown, I believe, isn't it?
I have no idea. No idea at all.
Okay, Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, author of
Robert Brackett Elliott and Raymond Walter Goulding.
Backstage, and we'll be hearing from them. We're going to hear Stapley, the word wizard, here with us again today, and I wonder if we have time for one letter right here, Doctor, before we proceed on our way. Yes, our producer says we do. This is from
certainly applications with me.
What?
It's certainly applications with me.
This, I think,
no derivation of time. It's entirely upon your responsibilities.
This is from a man in Leonia, New Jersey, who writes, recently I bought a bottle of rubbing alcohol to apply to a lot of sore, aching muscles I had. The label on the bottle said for external use only. So, of course, I undressed and went out in the front yard where I was immediately arrested. Now the judge won't even let me introduce the label in evidence because he claims I misunderstood it. I've reread the instruction many times, and I still don't see what else it could mean. Do you?
No, the phrasing is perfectly indigenous. It seems to me like a gross undercarriage of justice.
Yeah, the instruction for external use only is bound to mean that the rub-down has to take place outside the house. Of course, the man mentions that he was still in his yard when he was arrested, Doctor. Do you think the judge might feel the location wasn't external enough? I mean, the word external could imply someplace more public, like a bus.
No, that point was clarificated in the case of McVeedman versus the Kansas City Transit Authority. There, McVeedman tried to get on a bus clad only in his rubbing alcohol. And the court upheld the right of the driver to order him back into his own front yard.
This should be an open and shut case, I guess.
Sure.
We'll get back for more words with the doctor, the good doctor, in just a little bit. Dr. Helmut Stapley, the word wizard, and I know you have to leave very soon, Doctor, so we'll get to one final letter here, if we may. A question from a woman in Suffern, New York. That's where they make the succotash, isn't it?
I believe so.
She writes...
If my magnification serves me correctly.
She writes, I am a school teacher and enjoy using a lot of profanity in front of my students. However, I'm worried that we have several new rules about what may and may not be taught in the classroom. As a language expert, can you suggest a few cuss words that still might be legal?
Yes, I'd say that anything which is profane but still understandable and appreciated by all the minority groups is fine. Of course, the level of understanding depends upon the age of the student, so I can't make any specific suggestion.
Well, I guess we can be grateful for that. And I guess it's been a little bit of a pleasure to have you here this afternoon, Doctor.
Well, thank you. I'm always mortified to come.
We're mortified when you do. I hope our listeners will join us for another informative session soon. If you have any questions about words and their derivations, please send them along in care of Dr. Elmer Stapley, Bob and Ray, here at Radio New York. Gentlemen.
I'm able to play jealousy today, fellas. It's Friday, you know.
All right, I'll tell you what. I promise you right after we hear from our critic at large, you can play it, all right?
Oh, of course.
We have a very tight schedule. We have a tight schedule, but if we move along, we can get it. Here is Sandy Lesberg. Freehold.
Oh, this is Webley. After
Webster.
Sorry, so excited. At the hand-burnished, beautiful WOR organ and jealousy.
Thank you. It's 6 minutes before 6. Time for sports with Sam DeLuca. Sam? Call now.
I say, Wally, come here. I want to talk to you about your candidacy for the mayoralty.
Yes, well.
I see where the Republicans over in Brooklyn didn't go along with the governor in supporting
they rejected the fusion candidacy, former Mayor Wagner. That's right. Well, of course, that is going to affect my position in my thinking and my decisions.
Well, look, if you got the support, say, of the Republicans in Brooklyn, would that help your candidacy?
I think certainly. I think it would certainly help me, of course.
On the other hand, if you don't get it, would it discourage your?
It wouldn't force me to drop out were I to run. Let's put it that way.
But you're still.
While we're running, I still haven't decided. And as we said earlier, I think the early part of the week is the better time to make an announcement rather than on the weekend when many people are out of town and not maybe paying too much attention to political announcements.
Right.
Taking it all with a grain of salt, as many people do.
Right, Wally Ballou. Call now.
I was hoping I'd have time for another showbiz reminiscence story, but I don't think I do tonight, and I hate to get into the middle of those and not be able to finish them. So I'll just keep that one till next week, and you folks there in the audience can remind me of it. Thank you. Wait.
I think it's time now that we settle back and make plans to listen to all the sports news, Mr. Bob.
All right.
And you two, Mr. Ray and Mr. Stan. Let's see, something I wanted to say and it slipped my mind.
Something about your diet?
No.
Your weekend? Weather?
No.
Sports plans? Going to play baseball this weekend?
Yeah, that's it. It looks like a good day to limber up the old baseball mitt and glove. Get out and break it in this weekend. And start breaking off my curveball.
Now watch your back.
Right. Okay, let's check on all the sports news with Stan Lomax now. And again, thank you, Stan, for all the sports news, and that kind of wraps it up for this week.
Yeah, for today and this week. We'll be back on Monday.
Do you have any big plans?
Not until Monday. I have some big ones for Monday, and I'll tell you more about that come Monday afternoon. We want to give credits where credits are due for this week. Our producer has been Michael Wiseman.
And Ronnie Harper and George Black, our engineers.
The Animal Acts were staged by Roger Barstow.
And, well, that's about it.
Well, we want to thank Moms, our wardrobe lady, for taking care of our clothes, our stage clothes all this week.
Well, we could go on and on with these credits, but I think we better stop now.
I suppose we should.
Until Monday, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumb.
This is WOR New York.